Let me run you through how I approach specific patients in clinic, how I consult them, how I treatment plan with them together using my iPad and my drawing approach, as well as how I do the least amount of treatment I can but get the largest physical outcome for each patient using my treatment planning approach. Here, this patient came to see me not long ago. They were bothered about their overall tired appearance. They were largely bothered by the way the under eyes are making them look quite tired, and they had this development of what appeared to be a little bit of a malar bag or some volume collecting over here, almost as a puffiness. Now, this is actually not puffiness. This was just their natural cheekbone. On examination, which was really important for me to do, I had a look, I examined the area. We were able to have a look and understand that there's very little tissue over here, so it was not a case of them showing excess volume or lymphatic drainage problems or previous filler causing festooning or edema and all these kind of things that sometimes is misdiagnosed. Actually, what was going on here is if we have a look and we do some drawings, we can see that there are different bones in the face. We have the bone around the eyelids, the orbital rim. We have a bone out the outer cheek called the zygoma, the zygomatic arch. We have a bone that covers the front of the cheek over here as well. And now there's a step between the outer cheekbone and the inner cheekbone, the zygoma and the maxilla. And that typically causes a mismatch in this area where then patients develop these lines that start to separate or cut their cheek, and it almost appears as it's dragging from their eyelid down. Now, often it's not a case of needing any filler in their under eyes. Lots of patients are misled into having tear trough filler, and they have very bad outcomes here, and they come to see me for dissolving and corrective work, because actually the eyelid is already full of volume. There's a positive vector here. So what we need to be looking at is not adding any volume into the under eyelid over here. If anything, we want to be blending the transition from the eyelid into the cheek, which is starting to disappear. As that bone in the front of the cheek is starting to sink in, the outer cheekbone is still standing proud. We have a step. We have a low point, and we have a high point, and we have the step where those transition. We again have a high point, and a low point, and a step where they transition. So it's very much a case of then us analysing this, and then going in and doing some targeted volume replacement where we blend this junction out by doing some volume, very small amounts of supportive structural volume in the anterior cheek over here. So we blend that into the outer cheek, not adding anything to the outer cheek, because if we look at the opposite side, you can see how strong this outer cheekbone already is, and how that cut running along here actually needs to be having better support, which is called the zygomatic cutaneous ligament. So if anything, what we need to do is add nothing in this area and add some really careful supportive volume or droplets into this area to blend that area together. And then to finish it off, we can also go in with a little bit of blending filler in this area over here, just to soften that transition there, as well as in the opposite eye, so we get a nice smooth finish. Now, if we wanted to go one step further and we wanted to complete the entire midsection of this person's face, we can then go in and do some treatment into the nasolabial lines by just softening these lines of folds out and smoothing that whole appearance. Now, what does that look like? Let me show you. You can see in this patient's case, we've really smoothed out those lines. We haven't made them look like a different person. We've used minute amounts of volume. In this case, we only used 2 syringes of filler spread across the under eye, the anterior cheek, and the smile lines on both sides. So there's just not even half a teaspoon of filler across all of those areas. And you can see the midsection of the face now looks much more rejuvenated. Soon we'll be then tackling the lower third of the face and having an equally impressive result here.